A few years ago, I met the Traska brand looking for a watch that had the spirit of the Rolex Explorer. I wasn't sold on the idea of having a watch with the copied design of the Explorer 1016. Traska offered something new, inspired no doubt, but a tribute and worth true homage of the Rolex icon. And this watch was the Traska Summiteer. Today I'm wearing my vintage Caravelle Sea Hunter Devil's Diver 666, and I'm going to review the version 3 Traska Summiteer, comparing it with the version 2. I will link the video of the version 2 review here or in the comments below. At the beginning, two issues kept me away from this Traska. The name that sounds a little bit funny in Spanish, and that I had to go through customs to get it here. The latter was due to a bad experience with customs in the past. Let's fast forward a couple of years, and after a very unpleasant experience with time factors that made me sell the Smith's Everest design copy watch that I had, I will link that video too, I put my eyes back to the Traska in its second version. The friend who bought me the Smith's Everest recommended me Laurier, which was also US based, and after a very good purchase experience with Laurier, I decided to give it Traska a try. When it arrived, I was really impressed. I reviewed it, I made a video, I suggested some improvements, and even contacted the company director at Traska, John Mack. In part, I think as a result of the recommendations that I and others made, the third iteration of this watch was born. Truth to be told, I was not planning on buying it, but after seeing that some of my recommendations had been taken into account into the watch, I had no choice, or so I want to make myself believe, of course. The fact is that based on the previous analysis, I have to say that essentially it has improved a lot. However, the changes are minimal. Now let's go by parts. The case does not change. It maintains exactly the same proportions and qualities, but now the watch seems smaller, or rather more proportionate to the 38.5mm size of the case. The main problem with the previous version was the proportions and perceived size. Despite being 38.5mm, it wore more like a 40 to 41mm watch. This was due to the dial opening and the narrow bezel. The new version moves the minute track around 1mm away from the edge, so that in addition to being visible from all angles, it makes the dial and the watch more compact and proportionate. It also changed the size of the numerals and hands, which in addition reads more accurately the minute and seconds track. Of course, needless to say, the color also helps to make it look smaller, as the inner circle is more noticeable. But I think even in the black version this must be noticeable too. If any of you have the version 3 in black, please share your experience in the comments below. I would love to hear about it. Another issue was the blue anti-reflective coating that previous models had, that I really didn't like a lot. It made it look less serious. Now, with a clear coating, and also in the rest of the range, it looks much more mature and functional. Oh, please, let me say that this dial changes has also been made in other models like the commuter here. Otherwise, the qualities of the watch remain similar. The hardening treatment of the watch makes the steel up to 6 times more scratch resistant than uncoated steel. Without taking this into account, the watch is well worth its price. Taking this hardened coated case and bracelet into account, we found ourselves in front of one of the best proposals for this type of watch, if not the best of all given the price of $550. This watch has an original design that pays tribute and therefore is a true homage to the iconic Rolex Explorer. It is also very versatile in size that accommodates a large number of wrists. Very comfortable both for its size simple shape, and above all, the bracelet that fits perfectly at all times. By the way, the bracelet has 4 micro adjustments, so you will always find a good adjustment for your wrist. The bracelet clutch has also been improved, as it used to jam a little bit in the version 2. Now the end links are more luxurious, with a central area raised. So all in all, it is very resistant and practical. With its 100 meters of water resistance and hardened to 1200 Vickers, it can be carried from the mountain to the beach without any problem in the very same day if you want to. Thanks to the drill lugs, it's very easy to change straps. And in the night you can find great orientation. The loom lasts all night. The watch comes in a simple cardboard box, but with a very practical and robust travel case in leather. And also, I have to mention that the people at Traska are simply great. I have contacted them a few times and they are simply superb, in my experience of course. This is a tool watch, and as a proposed exploration and adventure watch, there is very little negative to comment on after the corrections to the new dial. But this wouldn't be a review without something to comment on. I am not entirely convinced by the central area of the end links, which is cut so abruptly. It's probably due to the fact that the bracelet can be folded back on itself at all times, but it would be better if it was a little bit more rounded, not so edgy. However, it's not something that is noticeable unless you look very closely, and in normal wear you don't notice it at all. The second thing, the loom duration and intensity is a little bit lower than the second version in black, due to the slightly smaller numbers on hands. However, the difference is almost imperceptible. Now this is a personal note, the green color is a little bit lighter than what it looks in the web photos, and I think it would be nice to have a version with a darker green or even with some sunburst effect. But again, this is just a matter of taste. I like it the way it is. What I would like to see in the future is on the fly adjustment for the clasp. But I understand that this would surely raise the price given the hardness treatment and would complicate quality control and finishing. But if this was done, of course it would be great to be able to buy the clasp independently to put it on our already purchased watches. So in conclusion, the truth is that few other criticism can be found. I still believe that the 36.5mm version of the watch should be fantastic. And maybe with applied hour indexes, like the commuter, but with 3, 6 and 9. But other than that, for the purpose of the function for which it's designed, this is an almost round product. It is really hard to find what to criticize in a watch that just with what it offers in terms of design and new dial, it's already worth the price and more. If we add to that it is a really resistant watch, both with the sapphire crystal and the hardened steel, there are few watches that can beat it in price range, or even at much higher prices, if there is any. If you know of other watches with this kind of treatment for the price, I would love to know about them, because I think there are very few of them. And that is why when it comes to explore and move between mountains and rocks, this will be for sure the watch that will accompany me on many adventures to come. Or at least some of them. Well, thank you for watching this video, and I hope to see you soon in a new video soon. I have, as I said, quite a few in the pipeline. Some have been suggested by you, and I will make a state of the collection in 2022 as I'm selling a couple of watches. And also I want to make a video about the story of my search of the Rolex Explorer and all the watches in between, also including the Traska and this Caravelle Sea Hunter. Well, thank you very much and see you soon. Bye bye.